Hello, hello, welcome to Leap Taken. This is Mika. Here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And today we're going to talk candle magic explained. And listen, I know that if you're watching this channel, you probably are very familiar with candles and how to use them in spell work. I'm sure a lot of you are. It's very basic information. Stick around. You might be able to improve upon what you already do or remember something that you were taught kind of like in, Witchy 101, Witchcraft 101. And I'm making this videos explicitly, well, not explicitly, but purposely for those of us who maybe don't know, but you don't. You've kind of been messing around a little bit, but you kind of want a little bit more, a better understanding because you're buying candles, you've embraced the craft, witchcraft, all of that, but like you're still a little confused on some topics about candle magic. So stay with me. So let's get into it. All right. So first thing I want to talk about just right off the bat are just the candles themselves. So obviously you can have all different types of candles. You have candles in shapes of things as well. I'm sure you might have seen like on Instagram where it's like a female or male or even phallic symbols or genitals. You see all sorts of candles. I don't have any available to me because I haven't had to do that kind of work in a minute. So actually I need to be placing an order because I do. But no, that's what I currently have missing. But here are the basics. I would actually consider those types of candles in your basic arsenal once you get a little bit more better about, practicing witchcraft and doing some candle spells or spells that involve candles, right? So let's just get into it. So first and foremost, there's all types of candles. So you have this basic shape, which I picked these up from IKEA. They're white, unscented. I like it. I like the way it burns down. It doesn't make too much of a mess. They can get a little messy if you're not careful, but for the most part, I can kind of keep it contained to where I'm at. I love these for when I do, like I light and relight these. I just kind of, from a personal point of view, I like when I do like any sort of coven group work, and I work with the same group, so I light and relight this type of candle. I love it for that, and they last well. Then there's the chime candle. You probably have seen this. These are those little mini candles. These are chimes. These are probably the most used candles that I use. I use these more than anything because these are for like every spell. I can't think of a reason not to use these, even if the spell itself isn't only a candle spell. Let's say I'm doing other things. I almost always work this candle, this type of candle, a chime candle, into it. It's like inevitable. The most popular, easy to buy. I just get mine from Amazon, and I now actually have a reputable metaphysical store near me that I can get them from there. So far, it's been good quality. I feel good about it. So get this. This is to me the basic, like for sure. This is like some other stuff. Get this. Another one that is like super helpful is the tea light. The tea light can be your friend when you don't have a lot of space, you don't have a lot of room, and you're doing, and this is, I'm going to talk about this in a minute. This has got a little mess on it, you'll see. But this is perfect for just like everything. Same as this, like they go hand in hand, okay? I love having these things. This is all you really need for some candle work. Everything else, it's great if you have it, but if you don't, please invest in just varying colors of tea lights. These could be super helpful. You can dress them, you can add herbs, little bits of crystal, all sorts of stuff to these, and you can really do some powerful work with a tea light candle. Now, and I have it on this like little mini crate thingy here. Got this at the Dollar Tree. When you're burning these candles, a lot of times it can get really hot on the surface. I like to be able to sometimes put it on here, especially if I have several burning, so I'll, have them in fours here. Just, for safety, and not to mess up your surfaces. These are good for that. Dollar Tree. If you want to add a little bit of spice, I didn't even take the label off. What you can do is go ahead and paint them. Now, I'm thinking about adding something on the back because you see that I purposely left this from the last time I burned something, and that candle wax, it pulls in between the little slots here, and it just I kept this here sort of to catch some of it, but I think I'm gonna just have something here. I like these because when they get too tattered, a little too, not so pretty, I can just throw them out and go to the Dollar Tree and get more. But it's a quick, cheap way of holding your handles so you can protect your surfaces. Like I said, these get hot on the bottom, so don't be surprised if they leave like a ring or something on your table. So get one of these. Same deal. This, which I dressed, well, not dressed, I decorated because this is actually a candle that I'm going to dedicate to my ancestors. I'm going to put it on the altar. And I cut this out. I got a couple little wrinkles in here. I didn't paste it down or glue it down really good. Stick it down. Why am I saying glue? But I use my Cricut machine to cut this out. This is the Tree of Life, which is, apropos for my ancestors. And, this is just for protection. Everything has a meaning. And this is a cauldron that I had cut out. Again, I got a couple little boo-boos here as far as me actually sticking it to the surface. For some reason, I didn't smooth it out very well, but ignore that. Anyway, this is my cauldron. And this has significance to me, by the way, because whenever I connect with my ancestors, when I go in my mind and I connect with them, we're always sitting in like a dark void. And I don't see faces or really, I can't tell if it's male or female, but I do see the cauldron. And sometimes there's fire under it. So this is just kind of marking that. And then here, this is just to cover the label that I could not for some reason get off. So I just took some of the rest of the paper from the vinyl here, which you could see I'm struggling with getting this down well. But anyway, and then just put kind of like this star. And I thought I liked the purple and I thought it was pretty. And I wanted to cover up something that was a little bit ugly, although I maybe should have covered up more of this, but that's okay. They know my heart. But anyway, this type of candle, you call these 7-day candles. Excuse me. 7-day candles is what they're usually called. They don't necessarily burn for exactly 7 days, so don't worry about it if yours doesn't. Great to have. Dollar Tree is your friend because you're going to find white easily. And the thing about a white candle is that it could be a stand-in for everything, but I'll get more on color magic in just a moment. This is something you may not have as many, like chime candles, you want to have a lot, to be honest with you. These are great for spell work, like a one and done. You start the spell, when you finish it, it's burned out. It happens all in one day. Uses, I'll get more into that, but the point is, it's good to have some of these. White for sure. Always have white on hand. You can have other colors as you see them. Pick it up, red, yellow, black for sure if possible. They're not easy to find, black ones. This time of year it probably is though. But green, obviously, big money, all that sort of stuff. I'll get into that in a moment. But the point is, you want to get a couple. Have a couple basic ones, just the primary colors, white, green, and maybe like red. Have those. Then you got your taper candles. Now, taper candles are going to come a little different each kind. This is it gets skinny as it goes up. So you have these kind, and then you have the more fatter kind as well. By the way, this is a dark brown. It's not a black. This is great for any sort of earthy type magic, like grounding and all that sort of stuff. But again, I'm jumping ahead about the colors. Ignore me. I get excited. But yeah, taper candles are also wonderful as well. They can be great for overall witchy aesthetic. I'm just being honest with you. If you're trying to create a vibe, a mood, taper candles will be your friend. I like these maybe as overall a more dramatic offering. IKEA sell these. So I purchased it's like a, what do you call it, candelabra. It holds 4 of these taper candles. And I personally like to have that up. And I think that's great on an altar space, and it wasn't expensive to buy it. So, I mean, I got it from IKEA. It's nothing super fancy, but when all the candles are lit, it's so dramatic. And it's a wonderful decoration to have on your altar. And of course, the candles can have intentions put into them. You can dress them accordingly, a certain color for a specific reason, However, it adds the drama. Please never discount the drama. I know we're always talking about quick, efficient, easy ways to do magic, get the job done. But if you can bring in a little bit of the drama, You should bring it in. It's good. It's good for you. It's good for the spirit world. Bring it in. Make it a little bit more fancier with some Dollar Tree some Dollar Tree taper candles if you have to. But yeah, and of course you might get the more fatter ones. Now, sometimes it's tricky trying to fit them in. Like I got this one here, so I got these from, like, you can see it's stained from other works. But anyway, yeah, you can, they work out well. Usually the base fits the same in all of these, standard, so you shouldn't have to get too much fancy. In a pinch, use aluminum foil, fit it around, and make it a stand if you don't have anything. Sometimes we buy things and we forget we never purchased this if you don't have a candelabra. But anyway, that's what those are. So these are sort of in my basic arsenal of candles. This is what I keep around. This is what I almost always have on hand. Tea lights, for sure. Definitely love my chimes, and I'm almost always going to have this. Now, let's get into the talk about color magic. I already gave it away about white candles. White candles typically are everything to do with, like, honestly, all purpose, right? You can use white candles for stand-in, but if you're intentionally pulling out a white candle for work, a lot of times it represents, possibly purification. It could be remember, it's all purpose, so it could be a lot of things, but on its own, I always think like purification, I think peace, neutral, balance, that sort of thing. That's what I think when I think of white. That's what comes to mind. And, sort of sacred, when you're trying to make something more sacred, you might use a white candle. That's like why I said I use this for my coven work. It's just pure intention. That's what I think, when I think of that color. Now, when you have a black candle, the black candle could represent a few different things. The way I see it, and I should probably preface this by saying, get into the habit of identifying your meanings for colors and color magic. It's important that whatever emotion you get when you look at that color, that's what it means. Okay? Everybody could say pink is love, but to you, it means something totally different. Maybe for you, it means like finally getting your life together. Maybe it means together, it's balance, because for you, it's like, okay, at one point in my life, maybe you felt really, imbalanced, and you were like, you know what? When I see pink, I think of that time I, spent this summer, in a room, and it was like pink wallpaper, I don't know, or some other memory or something it triggers. And, that was the summer everything kind of came together for you. People are like that. We're emotional. It's okay if a color evokes a different emotion than what it's supposed to. So for me, with that being said, black for me, I like using black sometimes with ancestor work, any death work, spirit work, and then the more obvious, like, to banish and, that sort of stuff, to do any hexing and repelling and all that sort of stuff. Black is good for that. It's really, I know we say intention. However, in this case, with all candles, it really doesn't matter what the energy is you're putting into it. But you can put in whatever you need be. But I would not use a black candle for a love spell unless I was trying to break up a loving couple, right? I'm just saying that's the only way I could think about it. Let's talk red. I talked about having red for sure in your arsenal. Red can represent romance. If you don't have pink, you can have red. Romance, passion, love even, okay? Desire, all of that sort of stuff. Red, powerful. It has a lot of different purposes, at least in my book. So I like having red because it's not just simply one thing, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's all of those things to me. It doesn't have anything to do with necessarily romantic passion, but passion, drive. If you're working on a goal and you're trying to get things done, I would use a red candle. When I think of spells where I want to hurry things along, I think red. I usually bring in some of my sun sign energy, Aries, draw some symbols along that line on here, use like something that's like make a hot cinnamon oil and maybe use that to dress the candle with, a red candle, to get things done fast. That's a great way to do that. And if you are, in the need of giving a little extra oomph, a little extra power to a goal that you're trying to do, if you're starting a new project, you want to see it through, this is good for that purpose for sure. So that's why I like red. And then of course, brown. This is, hopefully you can tell, like if I put it together, this is black and this is brown. I don't know if it shows up that well, but this is dark brown. The reason you want a dark brown candle in your life, and these are definitely not easy to come by. Again, this time of year, you might have luck finding them. The reason you want a dark brown candle, brown, think earth, center. Think of the type of work that you, what brings on the color, that earthy brown color, dark brown. It makes you think of grounding. It makes you think of, balance. Maybe neutral energy. I said white can be neutral, but brown can be also neutral too, depending on how you look at it. Stability, making sure everything's pretty stable. If you're going through some things in your life, and I'm thinking depression and things like that, people don't normally think of brown, but I think it's a great way to sort of balance and kind of keep 2 feet on the ground for a minute. Maybe at this point in your life, you don't want to be flying high. You kind of need to have the feeling of like firmly planted feet, and that you getting your bearings straight. Maybe do some spell work with a brown candle for that. I love that idea. Green, which I don't have around me, but you guys got it. I have tons of these. I just didn't bring them all out, but a green chime candle. Oh my God, I use that almost exclusively. Or one of these types of 7-day candles in green. Great for money, prosperity, abundance spells. Great for promotions. Great for getting a job. Great for anything to do basically with prosperity and in that arena, right? A business, starting a business. Now, typically, I'm going to put a green candle and a red candle because I want that passion. I want that drive behind it. So I'm usually going to bring that out as well. That's why I said have red, because there's a lot of times you want that extra power, that extra boost that red's going to bring. So I like to kind of have that in a lot of my spell work that I do too. So we have black, white, red, green, blue, and brown, and then blue. Blue, again, 50 million chime candles. I have all these colors, but blue, for me, again, I think peace. I think intuition. It depends on the color blue. The more darker blues, I definitely think intuitiveness. Psychic abilities. So if I want to maybe do a reading and I want to get myself prepared, especially if I'm going to do it for somebody else, or the information I'm looking up, about to do a reading for, is like really important. Like, we've all had those moments where it's like, you're not messing around. Like, you need a clear message. I like to dress it first, of course. Use an oil that is, I like a peppermint oil for that. A peppermint essential oil, spearmint, any sort of mint. And rosemary. It clarifies to me, like, think of what, or eucalyptus. Actually, eucalyptus is my favorite. Think what eucalyptus does is clear things up for you, right? And I need my senses clear because I want to get the message. I want to be clear and not, be any blockages or anything like that. So I would get a blue candle, dress it in that way, light it, and just, put my intentions out there, and I would do the reading by the light of that candle. That's one of my favorite ways of using blue candles, and also for peace. When I do my more candle magic geared toward under my cottage witchery, blue for peaceful home spells. I like to have blue candles a lot, if not white. But yeah, a lot of times I use blue for that purpose. Yellow candles are wonderful for a multitude of reasons. From a seasonal point of view, when it's spring, I think yellow, and whenever I'm celebrating any Sabbaths that's occurring around that time, I'm going to have a yellow candle going. Let's just start there, right? I like yellows as well for sun energy to represent that. I might do a combination again with red. I told you I use red a lot. More than one might think. So I like to use that in combination, but for positivity. So I want that extra boost from the red, but I like to use yellow for that purpose when you want just to feel a little lighter, a healthy balance. I think yellow candles are great for if you're trying to do like a diet, you're trying to change your way of living, exercise, that sort of thing. It's like To me, that color is perfect. That color candle is perfect for that purpose. I mean, a lot of people struggle with trying to figure out, well, what color would I use for that type of spell? You know, I want to lose weight. What color would you use for that? Honestly, when in doubt, just use white. Let's start there. But if you have access to a yellow candle, and I would definitely use a big candle for that one, I would use yellow because it's representing positivity, hope. It's coming with, like I said, to me, it represents that sunny energy, the solar energy, which is burning, you know, and you want to burn calories, you want to burn fat, you know, that sort of thing. You know, connect those thoughts together and you can create a powerful intention looking at the color yellow. So there's where I go with that. So that's, oh, and one more, purple. How could I forget purple? Oh my gosh, purple candles, I don't use as much. I'll be honest with you. I really just, I don't know why. Purple never really comes up too much, even though when you think of witchcraft, you think purple. But what I like about a purple candle when I do use it, to me, I almost always see purple as royalty. I see it as, yeah, it's forever associated with royalty. It can also be a stand-in for maybe a deeper romance, like marriage, that sort of thing. That's where my mind goes when I think of that color. Purple can also be, you can kind of make it into a peace thing as well. All that, I mean, you could. Like I said, I don't use it a lot, so it's hard for me to really think too much about it. I just don't use a lot of purple candles. However, notice I haven't said too much about protection. Because to be honest, I think you can turn almost all of the colors candles into a protection candle. Definitely with the power of red. Fiery energy, you know, put in your mind's eye as you're coding energy into that candle of like fire, like around a protective space if you're doing it for a space or around a person. Definitely black. You can, great for protection. Let's say you want to do like an invisibility spell where you're not really noticed. You can go undetected in certain situations for safety purposes. Again, that's perfect for that. All purpose, white candles, all purpose can be protection work. Blue candle, you can make a blue candle into a protection. Guard your peace, you know, to block off psychic attacks. Remember I was saying blue has everything to do with like psychic abilities and all that sort of stuff. So bam. And even brown, again, it's earthy stability. You know, you want to guard against, again, it's about you putting that intention in here. You want to guard against anything that knocks you off your feet, anything that keeps you from being grounded at this time. So you can do that for that one as well. And yellow, okay, great. Positivity, you want to protect your positivity. You can't be negative right now. It's imperative, you know, let's say you're in school and you're training or you're doing something new, you're a new parent, you know, whatever the situation is, you need to be focused. You can't be having moments of doubt all the time. You can't go down a slippery slope of that. So you want to protect that energy. So you could use a yellow candle for that. See, hopefully you get the point, right? I think protection candles can be almost any color. Really, that's when you need to really be clear on what your intention is. So that's pretty much it for candles. Now, as far as I kind of summed up colors and the reason you would use them, let me know if you have any questions in the comments. But that's really basic candle magic explained. The next part, which I've had videos where I've shown dressing candles. What is dressing? Usually it's rubbing herbs, oils, or onto your candle. Typically already anointed oil. I make a lot of my own oils myself. I love doing that. I like doing it. Sometimes I don't label them, but this is, I made a road opener oil, and this is great. So you can, you know, poke holes in your, I use this. This is one of those things, like a little screw that you use for fixing eyeglasses. I use this. I'm actually going to invest in getting a chopstick, to be honest. But to stick all the way down in one of these. But right now what I do is I stick, and if I'm letting it burn and then blowing it out, I'll come back and I'll stick more holes in sometimes. And let me do this on camera, stick more holes in sometimes, put a little bit more oil and let it burn again the next time I light it. Okay, but the reason I like this, because you can inscribe on here. You see the point, hopefully you can catch that in. It's still got a little candle residue on it. But yeah, you can use like the point of this, and it's great. It's better than a pencil. It's very sharp, you know, and it's metal and it cuts through. So I like this. You can also use it in your tea lights to poke holes. You can put symbols and all that sort of stuff. So I like having something like this. You can also use a knife as well, you know, have a dedicated knife or some sort of sharp object with a handle, you know, so you can grip it. That's really good for doing that. But yeah, now I will dress this. This is an offering to my ancestors. I'll put on my altar. And yeah, I cut this out with my cutting machine. And I, you know, wanted something a little, you know, it's a little nice offering. That's what I was thinking. And these images are meaningful to me and my connection with them. So that's why I used it. But please know you can buy a simple candle like this and you can draw something on here with some markers or on a piece of paper and then tape it, you know, tape the paper to here. So if there's some imagery of meaning that you'd like to have displayed, put it on here. That's okay, you know, and then, you know, burn it and light it, you know, and put your intention and all that stuff in it. But please be creative with that. You don't have to just leave it as is. You can write words on it, but again, symbols have meanings as well. Sometimes you don't even have to write words because these things mean something. Like I said, these things mean something to me. And also, I like this particular vinyl because I thought of the night sky, and I always, in the beginning especially, I would always have this idea of sort of going up into like outer space. I would do like this meditation where I'm like in outer space and I'm just like floating one with dark energy and the darkness and all that sort of stuff. And if I stay in that space, eventually, you know, I could, you know, get to the next level where I'm actually communing around that cauldron with my ancestors. So I used to do that sort of meditation, especially when I was troubled, like late at night. So I would think this out, like I would just have this vision and put that in my head. And that was like super helpful. By the way, if you struggle sometimes with like getting to sleep and because you just got everything on your mind, think about that sort of stuff. You know, those are the type of great meditations you can do. And you just hold it as long as you can and see if you can break through different layers. And, you know, you'd be surprised at, you know, how you're connecting with certain energies by doing that in your waking hours and when you're supposedly waking hours. But yeah, that's it. If, again, let me know if you have any questions in the comments or extra suggestions. But this is Candle Magic Explained, basic candle magic. From a practical sense, because that's the only way I know how to do it. So thanks again for watching. I'm Mika. This is Leap Taken. Please like, subscribe, share. And as always, thanks again. Bye-bye.